Okay, so please help people and get richly rewarded. Please help people and get richly rewarded. This is the formula, okay? Sounds ridiculously simple, but this is the formula. I've been doing this, I've been teaching coaches, hypnotherapists, professional trainers, other business owners, people who are making a transformational difference in the world and are being very, very successful at doing that. They've all worked out this formula, every one of them. It's that simple. Deceptively simple, because here's where it goes wrong. Some people, they want to get richly rewarded, but they don't want to help other people. They just want to sell something, or they just want to do something, and of course that doesn't work. Other people, they're busy out there making a difference, trying to help others make this world a better place, which frankly it needs, but they won't get richly rewarded. They get all funny about charging and money and all the rest of it, and it gets all messy, and so they end up not really helping anybody, including themselves. And you know, there are people out there that are kind of cheating the formula. For instance, everyone remembers Bernie Madoff, who got very richly rewarded with his investment schemes, and he gave the illusion of helping people. People thought he was helping them because he was showing them these massive financial returns. But it turned out it was all smoke and mirrors, and it wasn't real. But in the meantime, he gave the illusion of helping people. He made people think they were being helped, and he got richly rewarded. We don't want that. That's clearly not the kind of people that this video is for. And if that's you, probably go and watch a different video. This isn't going to work for you. This is for people who want to make a difference and want to build themselves an abundant, wonderful, and great life in doing so. And it's the perfect formula, because if you do both, everything works out great. So why doesn't this happen? Like I say, I've been doing this for 25 years, more than. And my story goes back even further, if you haven't heard it before. I mean, basically, I discovered hypnotherapy when I was 15 years old, just by pure chance, fluke, synchronicity, call it what you will. And I kind of went down that path, and years later, I started working as a hypnotherapist, got very interested, trained in that stuff. And where a lot of people were hypnotizing people to bark like a dog, or to sing like Elvis, or they were using hypnosis to help people to not be scared of spiders and that kind of thing. Quitting smoking, I did a lot of that work. But where I really got interested, and the thing that set me on fire with excitement and a sense of passion, was realizing that these tools that I'm talking to you about today, and I'm teaching you today, these tools can help you do extraordinary things. Okay, they can help you to grow an amazing business. They can help you to grow an amazing life, to help people literally transform their lives. So that's the path that I've been on. And if you're interested in that, then this will be really important information. And please listen very, very carefully. So if this isn't working for you, if you are trying to help other people and you really want to help other people, but you're not getting richly rewarded, or you're running a business and you're doing well and you're getting richly rewarded, but you don't feel you're making the kind of difference or having the kind of impact you want to, listen up, because yeah, this information is going to be really, really exciting. And you know, and I'm very aware this is really important, because if you don't learn this, you're going to keep going around in the same negative loop, and the people that should be getting helped are not getting helped. And mark my words, there's an awful lot of them out there. So please help people and get richly rewarded. So if that's not happening at the moment, that formula is not playing out for you, what's going wrong? Well, the first thing, you're not taking yourself seriously. Okay? Sorry about the amazing handwriting. I'm doing it as clearly as I can for you. Not taking yourself seriously. This is the thing. A business is a serious thing. If you're out there helping people and you're charging for what you do and you want to turn this into something that's going to work really, really well, you've got to take yourself seriously. You've got to be professional. You've got to actually put energy and passion and intention and focus into what you're doing. There's no difference. See, here's the thing. What you've got to realize, when you are working with a client, let's say if you've already got clients, great. If you're growing your business and you're getting more and more clients, great. you are very aware that those clients are paying you to help them solve a problem. That's fundamentally the thing that all businesses in the world have in common, is they help people solve problems. Okay? The person comes to you, and let's say you're a life coach. I work with a lot of life coaches. So let's say you're a life coach. They don't come to you and say, hey, life coach me. I really want to pay you lots of money to life coach me. No, what they generally say, if you're experienced, you know this, when they walk through your door, when they pick up the phone to you, they say, look, I've got a problem in my life at the moment. I feel stuck. I feel I've reached a certain point in my age, a certain point in my life, a certain age, and I feel that I've achieved things, but nothing like what I wanted to achieve. I feel lost. I feel like there should be more. I feel like I'm missing something. There's some sense of purpose, or I'm just not happy. Okay, now that is a problem that they want you to solve. If you can solve that problem, then you've got a very serious business on your hands. You're doing great work. You're doing what I call the beautiful work. You're doing amazing things. And number one, you should be richly rewarded. But number two, you've just got to take that seriously, because if you don't, you're not taking that person seriously. That's the problem. If you're like in your head, if the conversation in your head is, yeah, but I don't know if I can really help. Who am I to help? Am I really qualified enough? Or, can I really help this person? Or, you're not taking yourself seriously. And the key to that is the difference between internal and external energy. Okay? If you're worrying about whether you can help them, you're worrying about all the wrong things. Am I good enough? The big question is that client, do they deserve your help? It sounds kind of arrogant, but it's really not. That client has got a real problem emotionally. They're hurting. They want help. And it could be anything. It could be a weight issue. It could be a health issue. Lifestyle issue, could be someone wanting to quit smoking, could be wanting someone with help with relationships, meaning of life stuff, purpose, figuring out what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, help with business, could be sports people. There's a million things this could be. That person, do you take them seriously? Do you think do you think what they're saying is true? Do you think they deserve your help? Think about their life at the moment. Think about who they could be. Do you believe in that bigger circle? Do you believe their life could get better and richer and bigger? Are they capable of and worthy of the change that they want? And if so, and you take them seriously, the rest starts to fall into place very quickly. Okay? And this is really important to me. This is really why I'm here doing what I'm doing now, and hopefully sounding a bit passionate and fired up, is because this is important to me. There are not enough people out there doing the beautiful work, doing the coaching work, doing the hypnotherapy and sharing this transformation. There's not enough people out there doing it who take themselves seriously. There's a lot of people tinkering. There's a lot of people who are very excited and interested in this, but they never really get started. Or when they do, they hold themselves back. They play small because of a lot of this internal stuff that's happening that we've got to change. We've got to shift. And I think the biggest change you can probably make today, if you think this is what's going on for you, the biggest change you can make today is think about the people you can help. Visualize them right now. Visualize the kind of people you'd really like to help. And visualize them struggling and frustrated. And this is what I do. I imagine thousands of people and they're saying, come on, Ed, we want help. You've got to get these people out there taking themselves seriously, the coaches and the change agents, the change mechanics. Get them out there making a difference. Get them positive, get them confident, get them fired up, because we need their help. That's how I visualize it, and I recommend you do the same. I made another video a few days ago. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but go and watch that. It's about alignment and how when you really sort out your internal alignment energetically, you don't need confidence. Everyone says, if I just had more confidence, I could take myself seriously. I could make a difference. It's not about confidence. It's about what's going on deeper alignment inside of you, in your internal energetic field, and the way that you're connected to things. And it sounds kind of spiritual and energetic, whatever. But like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I've seen it again and again, and I know what's going on. It's usually something deeper, something energetic, a misalignment of some kind. If you really want to help somebody, and inside you're saying to yourself, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. I'm a bit of an imposter. Maybe I might get found out, or I don't know if it might be too hard, or I might not have enough qualifications. That stuff is misalignment. Go and watch that other video. I know you'll get a lot from that, and it will fit really neatly with what we're talking about here. Second thing I want to talk about is value. Value versus price. I want you to be obsessed with value. not price. Because here's the thing, if you don't help this person, if you don't use your skills and your experiences and your wish to make a positive difference, you won't get rewarded, number one. But the second thing is, this client or this potential client is going to go and get help somewhere else. Okay? Frankly, they might go to a fast food restaurant to get their help. Instead of you know, I work with a lot of personal trainers and fitness instructors. Now, if someone's thinking about coming to you to change their life and get them back on track, get them motivated and start to get that lovely energy and fitness and, you know, vibrant health, and they decide not to go with you because it just doesn't feel like a good fit, the first place they may go is to go and buy fast food or, you know, fizzy soda drinks or whatever, or they might go and buy cigarettes, or they might go and do something else, but go and watch TV, because all of those other options, they're your competition. This is the other thing, people say, oh, there's too many coaches, or there's too many people doing what I do. Absolute nonsense, absolute nonsense. The big money, the real competition for you is, number one, inertia, people doing nothing, and number two, it's spending their money on other people. Because what you've got to think, there are companies out there, and you know who they are. There's food companies who sell happy meals and happy food. There's drinks companies that say, you know, open one of our bottles of drink and open a bottle of happiness. There's TV companies that say, turn on your TV and go to your happy place. They know people want to be happier. They know people want, you know, their lives to be better. And they're doing a great job of marketing. If you don't get this right, you'll make that mistake, and you'll think that people are all about price. Nobody is phoning you up and asking for your help and basing their decision on price. You think they are, probably. The reason a lot of my clients think that it's about price is because what happens when you pick up the phone is the person says, how much do you charge? Because they think they should ask that question. That's the last thing they're really thinking about. What they're really thinking about is this valuable? Will this exchange of value be good? Will I get the change I want in my life? Because if they've been struggling with something in their life, relationships, health, money, whatever, and you can solve that for them, the value is huge. The value is just enormous, and they'll pay whatever price is necessary. You know how you go to a clothes store, and when you walk into the clothes store, the assistant says to you, can I help you? And you say, no thanks, I'm just looking. And I know that's what you say. That's what we're all programmed or tuned in to say that automatically. No, I'm just looking. And it's not true. It's not true at all. You're not just looking. Truth be told, if someone came along and said, hey, I've noticed you looking at these shirts. I've got this shirt over here. I think it's really going to suit you. I think you're going to look just crackerjack, knockout in this shirt. You're going to look so good. And you know, do you want to go and try it on and see what you think? You don't have to buy it, but see what you think. Go and try it on. Mark my words, this is the best you're ever going to look in this shirt. And you go and try it on, and you're excited. I do look good in this shirt. This is cool, thank you. That's what you want. But do we say that? No, we say, I'm just looking. And people do that when they phone you as a coach or as a business owner. They're phoning you and saying, how much does it cost for you to do? And it's the last question. That comes up later. And the reason I share that is because I just want you to think about value. If you were that person, I mean, imagine, go back into the past in your own life, think about what you were doing, I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. Think about something that was really bothering you, a bad thing that happened in your life, or something you were going through, something you were struggling with. What would it have been worth? Because you probably figured it out by now. Hopefully, you know, that's the past, and you sorted that thing out. And a lot of people that come into this world of wanting to help others have been through stuff themselves. They're like, you know, what Carl Jung called the wounded healer. They've had issues in their life. They've sorted it. They've come through. They're stronger, and they want to help others. Now, you go back to that time in your life. What would it have been worth if someone could have come along and said, hey Ed, I can sort that out for you. I can, you know, you think it's insurmountable. You think that can't be sorted. You think that's impossible. I can sort that for you really easily. I know what to do. I know how to help. What would that would have been worth so much? Forget the price, the value. Because I'll tell you one thing I used to do when this is number 2, by the way, isn't it? Number 2, because the first thing we said was take yourself seriously. Number 2, understand value over price every time. Really quick story, when I was working as a hypnotherapist in Oxford in England, long time ago now, I worked with so many people with quitting smoking. And I remember I was charging whatever the price was, like, you know, £100 or something, it was a long time ago, to help someone to quit smoking. And I remember a mentor of mine, a colleague of mine, who said, Ed, you should be like tripling your prices. Don't charge £100, charge 300. And I'm looking at price saying, hey, they're moaning about £100. How am I going to charge 300? You just got to get the value up. You know, go and figure it out. Figure it out. Sometimes the best coaching you ever give to somebody is to tell them a story or give them a situation and then say, now go and figure it out. And I did. And the way I figured it out was really easy. I started analysing the value for the client of quitting smoking. And I was like, I can't remember what cigarettes cost in those days, but let's say it was £1 for a packet of cigarettes. And I'm like, in those days, people chain smoked. They would smoke 2-3 packets of cigarettes a day. So let's say even your moderate smoker at 20 a day, that's £1 a day. That's £365 a year spent just on cigarettes. And I think it was a lot more. And then you start putting in inflation in, and you start, you know, forecasting over the next 20, 30 years. Let's say my average smoker was 40, which was probably about, you know, about usual, 35, let's say 35, 30 to 35, because they were usually starting a family and things like that. So yeah, it's probably a bit younger, 30 to 35. Well, if they smoke for the rest of their lives, they might only live till they're like 70 or something. But even then, that's still 35 years times whatever, £500 a year, £1,000 a year, whatever it was going to be with inflation, etc. So I'm thinking, hang on a second, if I get them to quit smoking now, I help them and they stop forever, that's like tens of thousands of dollars. And then I start working out like health costs, all kinds of other things, having to replace their car more often because people used to smoke in their cars then, so they'd be yellow and they'd need replacing, and their house would need decorating more often, and all these other things. And then I start getting to the intangibles. Okay, on average, I did the research, on average, they're going to live an extra 10 years. Whoa, what's 10 years of life worth? How do you put a price on that? What's that? $200,000, you know, £200,000, excuse me, back then. So, okay, just random, intangible, it's priceless. But let's just say $100,000, $200,000 pounds for another 10 years of life. And then it's not just that they're going to live longer, they're going to have a lot more energy. You know, because one of the main reasons people stop smoking is they want to have more energy and fitness, so they feel good around their kids. They feel proud as a parent, and they can play football with their kids and kick a ball around or throw a ball around and feel younger, feel energetic. And again, that's intangible. How do you put a price on that? And in the end, I figured this out, and I kind of said to myself, it's not unreasonable to say that if you help someone to quit smoking, back in, this was the 1990s, I guess, if you had helped someone to quit smoking, that's got to be worth £1 million or $1 million over their lifetime, if you include everything. And I'm like, right, so I'm going to charge, price-wise, £300. $300 if it's easier. But the value, $1 million. I'm the $1 million guy for these clients. It allows you to step into that confidence and say, hey, am I worth it? Of course I am. Damn right I'm worth it. I'm the $1 million guy when it comes to smoking. Are they worth it? And that's when you ask yourself, do you want to work with smokers? Is that your market? Is that your ideal client? Do you want to help people quitting smoking? Because if you do, you're going to enjoy it, source code, it's going to be fun, and you're going to bring so much value. And you never have to wake up in the morning thinking, oh, am I an imposter? Am I good enough? Am I worthy? No, it's not about you. It's not internal. Internally, it's about, do you enjoy doing it? Do you want to do this? That's the alignment part. Were you born to do this kind of work? Externally, the client, is it worth it to them? Are they worth it? 100%. Okay? That's why you work with people you enjoy working with, because it's a win-win. The third thing, last thing I want to talk about today, which could affect your results, could hold you back, could keep you stalled. Because the big thing I do, the clients that I work with my kind of private consulting, etc. I work with coaches, again, hypnotherapists, training professionals, business owners who are doing pretty well, but they're kind of stuck at this plateau. They might be seeing 10, 20 clients a week, running a decent sized business, but they're doing it by themselves. They're doing too much. They haven't figured out how to turn that into, changing it from what's called one-to-one to one-to-many. They're not growing. They're not scaling in the way they could be. And that's a real sweet spot for me, but they are taking themselves seriously and they are ready for growth. Okay, and that's people I love working with. And do you know the difference if you're not there yet, if you're still just seeing a couple of clients a week, or haven't even got started, or you're still learning the tools and techniques and you're not really confident enough yet, you're at that stage, you've got to understand the only difference between you and the people that are, you know, halfway up the pyramid, as it were, halfway up the mountain. The only difference is affirmations. Talked about this in the last video. Probably talk about it in most videos, quite frankly, because it's so important to understand what it means. Affirmations and also comparison. Because if you say to yourself in your head, yeah, but they know more than me, they've been doing it longer, they can charge more because they've got more experience, or they, you know, they're different, they listen to them on their videos or listen to them on their marketing, they're so confident. That is an affirmation. It's also comparison. Okay? Stop trying to be better than other people. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Again, it's like you and the other person, or you and your own energy fighting and squabbling in your language, in your internal, in the pictures you're making inside, the words you're using to yourself, the feelings that you're creating of angst or worry or anxiety, panic, whatever. All of this stuff, it's like you're either fighting against yourself or you're fighting against this idea of other people. And meanwhile, it's like that client that really needs your help, that will pay you richly to help them, okay? And that you will change their life, and they'll look back on like, I'm so glad I did that. That was the most valuable thing I've ever done. That wonderful connection and that business that you could be running that could be just incredible and aligned and you know, full of purpose, full of passion, it's not happening because you're busy squabbling with yourself or holding yourself back. Affirmations are so wonderful because affirmations can set you free. If you believe, but they have to be truth. I'm going to talk about this more another day. It's a too big a subject for now, but affirmations are truth. That's all they are. Now, pictures, words, feelings that you have put inside of yourself or that you use externally in conversation, but they are statements of belief, feelings, values, etc. that are truth. And if you say to yourself, I'm not good enough, or I don't know if I'm good enough, that's the message that the universe hears. That's the message that your operating system is running on, and you're not going to like the results you get. And if you start comparing yourself to someone else, if you look at someone else and you see a picture inside of yourself where that person is taller than you or bigger than you or more powerful than you or more successful than you, and that's the picture you're making, and you're saying to yourself, oh, I'll never be that good, I'll never be that confident, they just know so much more than me. These affirmations and these comparisons are, like I say, it's an operating system and it's running your life. And they're just so easy to change. They will hold you back, but they'll also set you free. Okay, and a great example of that is we talk about, I teach affirmational triads, and if we start with truth, which is I don't think I'm good enough, I'm not sure I'm good enough. If that's the truth, that's not a great affirmation. It's holding you back. However, it is true, and if it's true, that's fine. Go with it. At the moment, I feel I'm not good enough, but I've decided to change that. I have decided that I deserve to be good enough. I deserve to believe I'm good enough. And I think if I do the right things and if I move in the right direction, in no time at all, I actually am going to wake up one day soon and I'm going to know that I am good enough. And as I say that, I'm already starting to change. I am becoming good enough. Every day I'm becoming more and more proud, confident, happy, focused, clear. I just want to leave you with that idea, but I also want to leave you with one more idea, which is about clarity. Number 4, the other thing that you're probably doing, if you're not right, ask yourself the question right now. Are you helping other people and getting richly rewarded? Because that's the formula, that's the magic formula. If you're doing both of those things, congratulations, that's just incredible. The world needs that, and that's the best thing that can ever happen. If you're not, if part of that formula is not working, the things we've talked about today are going to make a difference, but also clarity. Okay? And it's connected to all the other things. But do you know what you really want? Do you know what it looks like? This successful business or practice or mission, whatever you're going to do, what does it look like? In terms of the outcomes that you're getting for people, in terms of the help, those two parts of the formula, in terms of helping people, what specifically are you doing? How are you helping people? How are you letting people know that you can help them? How are you telling your stories? How are you starting those connections, those conversations? And when you help them, how long are you going to help them for? Are you just going to help them for a few weeks, or could this be a long, ongoing relationship? Which all the best coaching relationships, all the best change relationships that I've been involved in my life, they tend to go on for a long time because they're win-wins. They're so amazing, nobody wants it to stop because there's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Okay? But how long will you help people for? What will you do? What are your biggest promises? What's your positioning? What's your brand? You know, how are people going to feel when they deal with you? What's it going to feel like? What's your source code? What makes you unique? Because again, you're much better being different or first than being better. Because being better, what does that even mean? Again, it's vague. We want clarity. You want to be better. What's that actually mean? And often what it means is just being the first to do something in your town or in your space, or doing something in a way that other people haven't done before. Two really quick examples to leave you with, just to make, because I want this to be clear. This is, we're talking about clarity. I want that to be the energy that I leave you with. Sandwiches, you know, like for millions of years, people ate meat and fish, okay, and vegetables. And for thousands of years, people ate bread. They invented bread and they made bread. And then one day, thousands of years into the history of these two items, some clever bright spark said, do you know what? Let's put that inside of that. You know, the Earl of Sandwich apparently said, let's get that bread, let's put some meat in the middle. I'm going to call it a sandwich. Suddenly, he doesn't need to be the best sandwich maker in the world because he's the only one. He's invented it. He's got a new thing. And it's so obvious afterwards. Okay. But another way to look at that, when I worked in Oxford, again, we're talking 25 years ago or whatever now, and I used to have a lot of clients, and I worked in this health, it was like an alternative health practice. It was like massage, aromatherapy, counselling. There's all kinds of things going on there. Of course, I did hypnotherapy and life coaching and NLP, but there was all these different things going on. So they had a lot of people that came there anyway. Now, they called their business Eau de Vie, Water of Life. The reason they called it that because they were the first people in Oxford, which was a decent sized city, they were the first people in Oxford to have a flotation tank. So they had a spare room with nothing in it downstairs. It was like a bathroom, whatever. They put a flotation tank in there, and everyone wanted to know what this was about because they were the first. What's a flotation tank? Oh, it's great, sensory deprivation. You put some stuff on your eyes and you plug your ears and you float in this oily water and Epsom salts, and it's just great. And you just float and lose sense of time. And it was a wonderful thing. Nobody else did that. So they had all these people coming in for massages and therapy sessions and coaching sessions. Suddenly we're like, oh, well, while you're doing this, would you like to get a ticket for our flotation tank? Okay, we can only do about 20 a week because it's, it needs cleaning afterwards and preparing. So we do about 20 sessions a week. If you want to book one, you can get that for half price or whatever. But the point I'm making is they were the first people. They didn't have to be the best as an alternative health practice centre. They didn't have to be the best because there were so many other people doing similar things. They just needed to do something a bit different. And they were very clear on what it was that they did differently. Hopefully that helps. The thing is, if you get more clear, if you start changing your affirmations, if you start comparing yourself in good ways, okay, and if you start really focusing on value rather than price, and if you start taking yourself absolutely seriously in terms of what you do and how you can help other people and what that means to them, not to you, to them, you're going to be helping people and getting richly rewarded for doing it. And that sounds really good to me.